Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Anything Goes with Anna Rose. And on today's episode, I cannot wait to rip some fire and some truths and some bombs, I hope, in inspiring you to begin no matter the circumstances. Today, I'm going to talk about the exact steps truly that I would do if I had to start again at zero, if I had to completely start again with no capital, no followers, no email list, exactly what I would do. And I can guarantee you, I know that I would have success. So let's begin. I'm going to dive straight in. I don't want to waste time. If this is an episode you love, let me know. Like you inspire and help podcast hosts by responding with your reviews, with your tags, with your comments when the episode drops, because then we go, okay, great. They love that style of episode or that conversation or topic. Because I'd also love to do one. I know you guys are going to love this one, but I'm going to do one as well on the next solo one will be the exact steps I would do in an investment strategy starting again, not financial advice. It would just be exactly what I would do starting again at zero. So yeah, but definitely let me know, because your tags, like I said, your tags, your downloads, your listens, your shares, your reviews, your comments when I post it on Anything Goes on my own page, literally keep me coming back into this chair every single week. Can I also just say, I should actually ask them when I start getting them now, but I have received some beautiful messages from queens literally sharing how this podcast has literally truly changed their life, in that they have consistently listened to all the episodes from mindset to business to investing to relationships, and been chipping away at the bits of advice that I drop and implemented it into their life, and have shared the stories, specific stories on how it has, transformed their relationship or transformed their career or transform their health. And it honestly means everything to me. As I said, this podcast is just something that I do for the love of it. I would, if I could do this for the rest of my life, I would do it for free. So, but I keep coming back because you just keep loving these episodes more and more and more. And it inspires me to donate so much, truly donate so much of my time to the podcast. So please let me know if you like it, but let us dive in. All right. So I firstly want to give some context to this, because I actually want to share how this actually isn't necessarily hyperbole, right? There has been two really core distinct moments in the last 5 years in my life where it hasn't been starting again. One, it has been starting again. I'm going to explain exactly what. But really, really could have been the end of me. And I mean truly been the end of me. So, and I would have had to have completely, fully started again. So what am I referencing? Number one, in 2021, I think it was, I actually can't remember the date because I don't really give a fuck. But my original Instagram account was deleted. It was deplatformed. It got taken from me in an instant. I was at the beach. It was a beautiful, I think it must have been around now. I feel like it, because it was like not summer. Anyway, I remember I was at the beach, and I remember I had just shared something in my stories. I obviously had been speaking up. It was 2021. So I had at that point been speaking up for 18 months, I think 15 months at that time, about the bullshit the government was instilling upon us all. And I went to get back into my Instagram and it was gone. It was literally just gone. It was like account not found, account not found. And I just knew, like I knew in an instant. Anyway, I cannot tell you, I had an account of 70,000 people. Before I had gone super mega viral, I was pretty much at about what I was at now. I was at 17,000 pre-COVID. I'd built it to 25,000 by myself organically. And then COVID began, I started speaking up. That was not my strategy to grow, but it just innately grew. I went from 25,000 followers to 70,000 over the course of about 15 months. And I had an account of 75,000. My story views were getting 20,000 views per story. It was fucking insane. And I lost it in the blink of an eye. Gone, completely gone overnight. And I had no recourse to get it back. And I've lost big things. Now, other creators that would ruin their career, truly, like if Instagram was the sole way that I earned an income, that would have been complete loss of income and devastating to me. Luckily, I'm not a fool and I have very diversified income streams, and I built an email list, and we're going to talk about that in my strategy. And I was able to start again, brush it off. I literally went, oh, well, I was on the beach and I said, fuck, it's gone. I said, fuck, it's gone. And I just said, oh my God, oh, well, I have to start again. I actually took like a month or so. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks off. I was like, this is actually, you know what? I need a break. And honestly, it was just, there was so much going on at the time. The public was screaming, please come back. And I came back. So my account that you will know and love me on today is my second account that I started. I think it was like December 2021. And I've built that now over the last 5 years back to 20, however many thousand. Let's get it right. 25, almost 26,000 organically again. So kudos to me. So that was one time in my life that I have actually lost everything overnight and rebuilt. The second time was when my fuckhead, narcissistic, violent ex situationship, it wasn't a relationship, stole 430,000 USD from me. It was my Ethereum. So he drained half my account. He drained my full account. I have told the whole story. Go back and listen to the DV stories if you're like, excuse me, pardon me, what? And that was the night he then tried to basically ruin and end my life. So he drained 430,000 USD from me. And again, that was just an investment holdings that I had ultimately. But that hurt, ladies and gentlemen. Please never get it twisted. That fucking hurt. More so because I was like, you cunt, you've just stolen an inordinate amount of money from me. How fucking dare you? But that, again, that's a moment in time that I had to rebuild from. Ultimately, I wanted that money back. I never got it from him, obviously, but I wanted to replenish that money. I wanted to build that back, 10x it, and never look back. And that's, I'm in the process now of 10xing, right? But I'm close. So when I sit here and I say things like, I have the audacity to go, the exact steps I would follow if I had to start again, rest assured that there's still so much relatability, essentially, that I'm not too far from you, right? I've still, a couple of years ago, had chronically traumatic, the theft, I mean the DV too, but happened to me where I've almost had to start again. So again, this is not coming from hypothetical strategy. This is literally, I know exactly what I would do. I'm, in the grit of it all. And most of the steps are what I did do to rebuild quite quickly after both of those events. So I also want to start by saying, so let's go. Are you ready? Let's dive in. These are the exact steps that I would use to build a business, right? If I had to start again from today, from scratch, with none of my resources. I also want to preface, I'm then going to start with what I wouldn't do, super critical, but I want to preface it as well and say why I'm focusing on business first. Business to me is it. It is my number one asset. So when I say Bitcoin and shares are my asset choices, they are, but they're like an investment strategy. Business is actually my number one asset. Like I said, I have 5 businesses, essentially. 4 of them are companies, 4 of which I started. One is network marketing that I built 13 years ago, and I'm still paid a residual income from every week to this day, 13 years later. So I have 5 businesses that pay me, and in multiple different streams. So when it comes to my coaching element, which is one, I do retreats. Well, not right now, but I have done retreats. I have a monthly mastermind, which is a monthly reoccurring revenue. And then I also have Self-Love School, which is an evergreen, also ongoing income. So within each business model, there is sometimes multiple streams within it. Okay. So Sis knows a thing or two about A, using business as an asset, B, earning, and C, how to build again from loss. So let's begin. Class in session. Here are some things that I would not do. Number 1, all right, I would not wait until I felt ready. Okay, you're never going to feel ready. It is a myth. People that say whatever, doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter what people say. You are never going to feel ready. You also may be listening to this or have been sent this because someone thought of you because you actually are starting again. And I just want you to understand this and understand it well. You will never feel ready, right? And this may feel stretchy what I'm about to say. This is exactly what I would do. Go do that thing. It will feel uncomfortable because you perhaps have done it before and failed, which isn't a failure, it's simply a lesson. You've never done it, so it feels really uncomfortable, or it's just unfamiliar to you. But if you heed this advice, it will make you go far. So what I would not do, the number one thing is I would not be waiting to feel ready, right? I wouldn't be getting ready to get ready to get ready to get ready. I just did a reel on this the other day. You all loved it. So I would park that. I'd be like, you know what? Motivation is a bitch. Readiness is a myth. I'm not waiting for either. I am pulling up my big girl socks. I'm putting on my big girl hat and I am going. That is step number one. That as in what I would not do. The second thing that I would not do is I would not spend a minute giving a fuck about a logo, a color palette, template, like the aesthetic of my grid. Not a fuck. Not one single fuck would be given about my grid, an aesthetic, a logo, a company name. Irrelevant. Truly irrelevant. Put that out of your head right now. Even though I say in business, treat it like a business, respect it like a business, 1000%. But we're in the gritty right now, Australia. You're desperate. You're looking for a way to earn more income. I'm about to tell you how. We're not getting ready to get ready to get ready. If you don't know how to like register a business name, set up an ABN, we're parking that for a minute because that will come once you start to earn an income. And right now we need to get money in your pocket. Okay. So I would not be getting ready to get ready. I would not be spending a second on a logo, a name, setup, color, logo, aesthetic, not a fuck. Okay. All right. The third thing I think we're up to that I would not do is I would not touch. I would go nowhere near an inventory business. Okay. This is an inventory business. A studio essentially is a big physical product. I would not do Tour Collective, right? I would not try to run an e-commerce, apparel, jewelry brand. I would not be touching that personally if I am starting again from the scratch and I'm in the scrappy beginnings and I just need to get some money in my house or my life. I would be purely focused on service business, or I am going to give you some suggestions as well, like some cheap versions of product-based businesses, which is ultimately still a service in my opinion. Okay, so I would not be looking for a heavy product-based business, aka a physical asset in this instance, nor would I be doing a heavy inventory. So you got to remember, product-based businesses for me were my fourth and fifth business, right? My fourth and fifth company ultimately. Tour Collective was fourth. The Dream House Studio was fifth. Okay, I had my millions first, and then I did that. I'm not saying you need to do that, but I'm just saying when you're sitting there scratching your head at night, lying awake staring at the ceiling thinking, fuck, I need more money, how am I going to get it? Don't think about drop shipping, inventory, e-commerce, starting a retail warehouse. Like the overheads are so high, the risk is too much right now. We just need you to get some money into your life via business, aka not trading time for money in a job. And so we're going to focus on self as the asset and service-based business. Number 4, I think it's number 4, that I would not do is I would not run ads. I would not worry and be getting ready to get ready to get ready to get ready to try to be like, I've got to scale on Meta. Still don't do it yet. I have learned it. I have not pressed go on my ads. I'm about to next week and I'm excited by that, but I'm not relying on that and I'm not hopeful for it, to be honest. Because the chaos that I have heard back in the day when Simon Beard, who built Culture Kings, who sold 49% of it for $600 million, he even admits, he's like, he couldn't build how he built today back then because he built on Meta ads. And back then you could click on one ad and back the truck up because it would go bananas because you could niche down in particular categories, etc. so much. So I would not be freaking out and focusing on and thinking I have to nail Meta ads in this part of my startup. Okay. All right. And the 5th thing that I would not do, and truly these are as important as then the 3 or 4 things I'm going to get into next. But the 5th thing that I would not do is I would not borrow money. I would be not getting into debt to start a business. And again, I've got friends that have taken on loans 100% to start businesses because they can afford it and they're in a position to, and it's their 3rd or 4th or 5th business as well, right? If I'm starting again, if I'm looking to bring in some money, if I'm looking to use business as a bit of an asset to not have to trade time for money, I am not getting myself into more debt to do that, taking on more risk, and ultimately setting myself up for a painful fail if my business doesn't get off the ground, but then I still have this overhead of bad debt. Okay, so we are not taking a loan to start a business. What I hope that has just shown you in the 5 things that I've said what I would not do adds more weight to the things I'm about to say, because you are then starting pretty risk-free, 0 debt, no stress, essentially, right? Because you're not having to think about paying back a bank. You're not having to think you have to be this genius with meta ads, and you aren't bringing on all this risk with drop shipping or e-commerce or a big retail space. All right. So the advice I'm about to give is then exactly what I would do if I was to start at 0. All right, step number 1, and this is such basic bitch, but it is fundamentally, it has never changed in 13 years of business, having built 5 businesses across 5 industries. I would publicly declare what I'm about to do on my social media and say, follow along the journey to support me or to just watch me fail or watch me succeed. I would begin to publicly share the journey of the whatever I'm about to go on, right? So I would be vulnerable, very truthful, and very just raw and real in, hey, I'm starting from scratch, or hey, I've just lost everything, or hey, I'm going to give this a go. And this feels stretchy and scary and vulnerable and weird. And I'm like, oh my God, but I've committed to starting trade or or whatever, insert your thing here, coach women, etc. And I'm going to share that advice in a second. And I'm committing to showing up here every single day, sharing the founder's journey of it. Founder-led content. Guys, cute little founders who are 2-3 years in the business, who are absolutely crushing it now, who are friends of mine, will go, it's founder-led content, social media strategists that I follow a $2 million in a minute, right? Selling Instagram fucking courses, all are saying the same, founder-led content. I'm like, motherfucker, I was coaching this from stage 13 years ago. I shit you not, at 25 years of age. And if you ever sat in an Isogenics fucking audience, you would have been trained by me. And I literally told this story. Show up, right? Show up as the person that's selling the product or the service. Okay. I would show up online. So I wouldn't even have a strategy, right? The strategy would be that I'm committed to showing up every single day, no matter what. I would declare that I am about to go on a journey of building a business of, and we'll insert that in a second, and come along with me for the ride. The second thing that I would do is I would say, I'm going to offer, the lessons that I'm going to learn week to week, the failures, or I would put together like a really cool free resource or guide and say, as a thank you for following along, if you sign up to my email list, you'll get this free resource or guide. And from day 1, I would begin to build my email list. Your email list is something that you own. Obviously, the email hosting service owns it, but Gmail's ain't deplatforming you, okay? I shouldn't say that, touch wood, but ultimately an email list is far safer and far more of a safe bet than an Instagram following or a TikTok following. They can deplatform you in a second. So I would, day 1, month 1, phase 1, I would be declaring, hey, I'm about to start this thing. And again, we'll talk about that thing in a second. And I'm going to take you on the journey and come with me. Okay. They're your customers. At the end of the day, even if you have no customers, 1 customer, 2 followers, 2 followers, 10 followers, 200 followers, where people are these days is online. So where you're going to sell is online. So it would make sense to be online. So that's the very first thing I would do. The second thing I would do if I was starting from scratch is I would completely look at myself as the asset. You have to think about a service-based business essentially, which ultimately is like coaching, courses, selling something selling your skill set. If you're a gardener, selling your gardening skills. If you're really good with animals, selling your pet walking skills. If you are a really incredible wardrobe organizer. You're a fierce, incredible, like OCD, A-type personality organizer, right? You would be selling your service of going into people's homes to organizing cupboards and kitchens and offices, right? So we're declaring it. You could actually switch these essentially, but you're declaring that you're going to take people on a journey. You're creating a free resource and or just saying, jump on my email list and every week you're going to get something from me, a tidbit, a bit of advice, a lesson that I've learned. And here's what I'm doing. And here, what you're doing is you're looking at yourself as the asset. So something that won't have been taken from you if you're starting again is yourself, right? Your platform might have been taken. Your bank might have repossessed the business. You could be someone going into liquidation like the rest of Australia right now. You could be, don't know, I'm not sure. Whatever it is that's been taken and we're starting from scratch, you as a sovereign individual have not been taken. So what you are going to do is mine the gold within. You are going to look at your life and you're going to look at your life experiences and you're going to look at what you love to do, right? Do you love to talk? Do you love to organize? Do you love to garden? Do you love animals? Do you love flipping furniture? Do you love coaching? Have you gone through a really, really public or messy or whatever divorce and come out the other side? And are you thriving? Did you lose weight? Did you find love again? Like, is divorce kind of your thing? You are going to mine the gold of yourself and find the topic of expertise that you're great at, and that's your business. That's it right there, right? You have to understand that in the 5 businesses that I have launched, including network marketing, so that I didn't launch that, but the millions that I earned and built and scaled in there was demand there. Again, I never, like, money was on the table and I was very inspired by that. But the second I felt and looked as good as I looked, guess what started to happen? The girls at work were asking, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, these products, I want some. Well, here you go. My mum wanted to know. My sister wanted to know. Like, people around me were like, what are you doing? There was demand there. And so I started to sell their products because you could in network marketing. And I started to get paid. And then, sis, once I started to get paid, that was it. Game over. I was ignorance on fire and went and earned my millions. So that could be another thing. Do you love hair? Do you love water? Do you love health? Do you love fitness? Like, there are so many network marketing companies as well that you could also align with to share the journey. So that's step 1, right? Step 1, we mine the gold within and we find what we're passionate about, what we're good at, what are or is our life experience to date so far. And that's the thing we're going to launch. Okay. So we say you're a really phenomenal organizer and it's actually something you're really obsessed with and you love. Are you great at laundry? Could you clean? Are you a great cleaner, right? You are looking for the gold in your life that you're good at, that you're passionate about, and that people might already be asking you advice on. Okay. That is step number 1. All right. Step number 2 or phase 2 in this build is I would start to share my offer. I wouldn't be building lists and waiting for people to come to me. I would be then going and asking women, all right, so we're going to break this down. If I had decided if coaching was an element of what I wanted to do and what I was really good at, and it was self-love, or it was divorce coaching, or it was organization coaching, or it was business coaching, or it was confidence coaching, or it was speaking coaching, or it was content coaching, right? Whatever your niche, it's not even a niche, whatever you mined for gold on and you were like, actually, I would fucking rock at that. Here's what I would do. I would go and I would find women in my community and I would ask them. I would join community Facebook groups. I would look at the groups that I'm already in on Facebook, for example, and I would see the rules and I would be contacting women. I would be asking women in my own community. I would be posting in my stories and on my grid saying, hey guys, all right, here we go. I've launched as a organizational cleaning coach, or I've just launched my cleaning company, or I've just launched my dog walking services, or I've just launched my furniture flipping services, or I've just launched my social content media services. I'm looking for 5 men, women, children, aliens, whatever your audience is, for free. And I'm going to offer my services, my coaching, my dog walking, my cleaning, my furniture flipping, my whatever, for free. But I need a like detailed, amazing video and written testimonial from you. Okay. It's also just getting you comfortable doing the thing. Okay. Cleaning the house, going in and like finding your groove with cupboard organization, getting the confidence to go and connect with a brand new client and be like, hi, I'm Anna, like I'm here to walk your dog, whatever. Okay. It's the repetition of the skill. And I would only do 5. 5 would be my max, right? But I would go immediately and find 5 people that would say yes to me, not yet paid for my services, to say, I'm going to give you my service or my offer. You are going to do it. You're going to let me coach you or clean your house or whatever else. And you are going to give me a video testimonial and a written testimonial. Okay, that is step number 2. All right, step number 3 still feeds into step number 2, but then I would start to, and by the way, this entire time, every single day, I would be sharing the shit out of this. I would be sharing the sucky parts. I would be sharing the late night. I would be sharing me working at my computer. I would be sharing the awkward, embarrassing moment I had for the day. I would be sharing me crying as I figured it out or failed for. I would just be sharing my life. Now, please understand that you are literally listening to my voice on my podcast right now, which charts I'm in the top 5% of podcasts in the world for the amount of downloads I get weekly, because this is exactly what I do in my own life. And I do it really organically. And I've just always done it really accidentally, right? I have just shared the journey of my life. And along the way, as I've built businesses, you have loved that. You've come along for the ride, and then you've bought from me because people buy from who you are, not what you sell, first and foremost. So please know this is coming from a very, very lived experience that stories sell, taking people on the journey. If you had built all this, not talked about it, you were, I don't know, a receptionist yesterday, and now you're coming out like, I'm a content creator from fucking nowhere and giving your audience whiplash, they're going to be like, eh? And switch off and be like, nah, that's not why I'm following you, right? But if you start to be like, guys, I've just been fired from my job, or I'm struggling in this economy and I really want to, I've been following this girl, Anna Rose, and I'm about to put a post up about the 5 different types of income. She was telling me about the 5 different types of income, and I've got one, and I want to diversify, and I'm going to start a business, and I might fuck this up, but come along for the drive, like the ride, right? People will buy into that. They buy into the story. They're like, I'll buy it. I'm here. Get the popcorn. Like, let's see how she goes, right? And then you take people on the authentic, real journey of that. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but I can guarantee that you will absolutely have far more success than doing it in private, doing it in quiet, and then launching it and people being like, well, this doesn't make sense. And can I just say, I'm literally coaching Ryan through this at the moment. It's such a powerful example, and we will see. He has not taken my advice, but he is learning to trade. And I have been consistently on the record saying this in my private calls, in my public podcasts. It's definitely not something I would recommend for everyone. I think it takes a male nervous system first and foremost. I think it takes so much time. You got to be ready to lose a lot. You truly, before you got to be really ready to suck before you get good. But he's in it, and he's brilliant, and he's learning, and it's so inspiring to watch. And it's hard to watch too on the days that he's lost versus gained and all the things. And I keep saying to him, he's wanting to show up more himself on social media. And I said to him, well, what are your pillars the other day? Well, I was coaching him through that. And then I said, what were you trading? Because he worked out, he said it's food, training, so fitness, and you, like wife, relationship. I said, that's beautiful. And you've left one out. He goes, well, what? And I said, the biggest part of your life right now, which is trading. And he said, yeah, but I don't want to talk about that yet because I'm not good at it. Like I'm in the suck. And I said, baby, well then I never want to hear you talk about it then, right? Because when you get to the top and you're this big rock star and you're earning all this money, fuck you, right? Like, fuck you, because you didn't take people through it from the start when you did suck and it was hard and you were relatable. Like when you get to the top and you're this big rock star, that to me is just not relatable. So please know that I literally give this advice to the person that I love the most. He's not listening yet. But he will. Friends, he will. But yeah, so that's what I would do. So back to step number 3, but we're headed into phase 3. We're in this beautiful symbiotic phase between 2 and 3, right? Because we have gained those 5 testimonials, which are proof critical, then you will be sharing them everywhere and starting to offer your services more publicly. Okay. So you will be starting to share them more publicly. The other thing that I would absolutely do is I would go to my friends and family and ask on my socials. It would mean the world to me if you shared my offering. You know, I'm just starting out. I'm whatever, insert your truth here. And again, where have you heard that before? Oh, that's right. On this podcast almost every single week. Never be ashamed for the ask, right? Ever. I ask you all for reviews. Fucking A, I do, right? Every single week. Never ever think you're above it. Never think you're below it. Never feel ashamed about it. So you will start to sell. Okay. You will start to offer your services, offer your, it is services, offer your services to the world, and you will have your testimonials. So you will be blasting them everywhere. You perhaps, even if it's relative and it's within your means, you could potentially even join one of those big groups like the community Facebook groups. I know Tea Time, or for me, these relative Gold Coast Girls in Business, for example. There's like 70,000 in one. There's fucking 250,000 in another. You can pay like marginal amounts to advertise, like $30 or something, or $20 or $10, and they let you post in there. That, ladies and gentlemen, is to me, just smart marketing. If I was to start again, that's where I'd go, right? I'd go where the audiences already are. I'd look up to see if I could promote in there. It's usually paid, which I actually like, because then there's no promotions in there other than a few because you have to pay. If the audience was relative to my offering, and I would blast it across them, right? I would ask my audience to share my brand new business or my brand new offering, or I would be emailing my email list that I'm constantly growing at the moment. I would be going and knocking on doors if I had to. I would be dropping flyers. I remember when my beautiful bestie, Danelle, started as a real estate agent, and she was like super fucking mega pivot, right? She was a badass HR corporate manager boss bitch for a mining company, and got into real estate. And yeah, and I remember strategizing with her, and she's like, I'm just going to go fucking pound the pavement and drop pamphlets. And this is all real estate. So I know they all do this, but she, humbled herself and went and just dropped a million pamphlets, asked us all if you know anyone looking to buy or sell a house, right? These are the things I would be doing. I would be leveraging my current network. I would be doing everything and anything in my power to get my name and my services out there. And I would be asking for testimonials all of the time to then start to share that more and more. And then I would be sharing the journey on the front end of my Instagram, my TikTok, my whatever, in a non-aesthetic, non-formal way. All right. And then step number 4, we've done it. We've made it almost, is I would start to be looking to scale. So let's talk about it. I'm going to try and give you some really specifics with this. We're going to focus on purely service. So we're going to focus on just coaching, like direct service, which is coaching essentially. Then I'm also going to focus on some business ideas, like if you start a cleaning business, a dog walking business, or a furniture flipping business, which I just think is so smart, right? So let's go with the coaching first. Step number 4 for me, once I started to sell my package or my one-on-one or my masterclasses or whatever it is, as that started to grow and I got some consistency with it, that's when I would then start to look at offering a tiered ecosystem. Essentially, I would be scaling. You've got your main offer, your main service now, and that could be one-on-one coaching. That could be a 6-week course. That could be a 6-month mastermind, right? Whatever the coaching service that you began with, that you offered for free, you got 5 testimonials, and you put it out, then you started to grow and leverage it. Once you had some real continuity and some clients and some momentum with it, or once I did, because this is what I would do, that's when I would start to look at my tiered structure. And this is something I'm really going to go into on my VIP day, and we're going to workshop this a lot with the women that are in the room. But I would be looking at a tiered structure, and I'm going to give you the exact same example with a product-based business. But I would be looking at like my tier 1 which is my lowest service entry point. So what's the lowest amount that I can charge essentially that feels still good for me, but people can access me or access my services or access my coaching. You have your middle tier, which is pretty much, if you take my advice, where you should launch at your middle tier. And then what's your higher tier? What's your tier number 3? What's your like closer proximity? Is that your more one-on-one, higher cost, higher service, higher availability, higher proximity to you? So for example, great way to explain it for me, my tier 1 is my inner circle, which you can join for free for $47 a month. And you come and you get hot seat coached by me once a month for 90 minutes, right? In fucking valuable. $47. I don't even know how much longer I'm going to run that, to be honest. Lane is at me. She's like, you're keeping this forever. It allows people to have access to you. But that's my tier 1. But I didn't start with that. Let me tell you, I started with Self-Love School, which is my middle tier, my tier 2. That's pretty much, if you're on the wait list, that's $777 for the whole course, which is life-changing, right? Life transformational. That's my tier 2. My top tier is my retreats, which go for anywhere between $4,000 and $4,500. And I sold 15 of those spots at 6 retreats in a row. So I did one retreat that I did smaller because I just needed it, because I was like, I've done too many, fuck. And I capped that at 8. And that was probably one of my favorite retreats. Sorry, everyone. But it really was just like an intimate girls' weekend away, truly. But yeah, so that was my higher tier. But that should have been more, to be honest, because that's pretty much 4 days, 3.5 days where I was up at 6 a.m. with the women until midnight, all day, every day, coaching, one-on-ones with them. They could literally ask me anything. They had access to me from 6 a.m. to midnight. I never once, the only time I was never with them is if I was on the toilet, right? So $4,500 for that is extraordinarily cheap. I'm about to do some incredible high elite level masterminds and so on that will be even more than that. So for pretty much not less access, but like retreats are just a different level. You get proximity like you never get with anyone. So that's my tiered structure. That was my tiered structure, right? It's changing up a little bit. I'm going to share it. You'll all know at the VIP day if you're coming. I'll put the link for that wait list in the show notes for you, because I have referenced that a few times. But yeah, or you could, so for you, if you're offering again the service and coaching, perhaps you add masterclasses into that, right? I feel like I dominated that recently, and now I feel everyone's doing masterclasses, which I love. I think it's awesome. But masterclasses are an amazing way to just serve more people at a lower ticket cost. Okay. So that's service and coaching that I would do. Once I had clients and once I had like my signature offer off and away, that I started to build organically from day one with no list, and I just started again and went and offered it for free for 5 women, got testimonials, and then grew that way. Then once and only once I had that solid foundation, I would start to look at my tiered pricing. If I was doing something like dog walking, VAing, creative agencying, furniture flipping, whatever, I would look at then bringing in a junior, essentially, someone else that I could bring in, or outsourcing to, say I was doing creative for companies and so on. Perhaps I would look at starting my own agency. If I was doing furniture flipping, perhaps I would offer, like, I would put it out there and go, does anyone's kid or like junior or teenager or younger person, right? Because it is cheaper labor at the end of the day, and you're starting again. And it depends. Sometimes they're hungrier, sometimes they're not. And I would put them under me so I can flip more furniture or walk more dogs or clean more houses or do more organization than if it was just me. Because realistically, that business model, as well as coaching, is still trading a little bit of time for money. That's more active income. So that's how I would look at both. If I started in coaching, that's where I would start for sure, for me personally, because I mine the gold. That's my gold. It's my knowledge. Once I had my signature offer and once I had started to sell it, then I would look at the tiered structure. If I, however, was really creative and really good, I would be on Facebook. Let me tell you, friends, I would be on Facebook Marketplace buying the cheap furniture that's like people are pretty much giving away, that's like might have a stain on the couch, or like an old wooden piece of whatever that I knew, and if this was my skill, it's not, I would do up, give a fresh lick of varnish, sand it back. I would put it back on Facebook Marketplace for 5 times the cost, and people would buy it. I would be flipping furniture. If I was obsessed with animals and loved to be active and outdoors, I would start dog walking. Once I had a few dog clients, I would then bring on someone else, like a 15, 16-year-old that's looking for some part-time income after school. And I would start to have them come on the team and also walk dogs and split, like, I'm going to pay you whatever you're charging your clients. I'm going to give you that, but you'll take $4 or $5 from them, but you're still earning more whilst not walking the dogs, if that makes sense. If I started my own cleaning company, which I for sure would, but if I did a cleaning company and I was the one just cleaning, but everyone loved my services and I was getting more and more clients from all the referrals I was getting, which you would when you're a good cleaner, I would bring in another one, but I would train them. They would come to the house as I am cleaning. They would see the standard and the level that is acceptable. And then they could go out into the world and clean. And again, same thing. You charge them 40, 50, whatever an hour, and you're taking X amount, but you're still then earning more, and it's not you cleaning, right? Because you're the boss. You own that business, and that's how that works. So that's how I would start, declare, begin, testimonials, and then scale. All right. So that is the four ways that I would exactly what I would do if I was to start again. And the truth of the matter is, it will take work, right? It takes a lot of work. Imagine then doing that across 3 active businesses for me now. But it takes work. It absolutely takes work. I will say it was so funny, and we were laughing aloud the other day because Ryan has just, again, like I said, just decided to. I think he's been watching me really show up online recently and just being innately inspired. And off his own back, he's like, okay, well, he just started to show up online more. And I said to him, I said, oh, I'm noticing, like, I love it, baby. Like it's awesome. It's inspiring. I'm loving your content. And he was like, he looked at me, we're at the table, and he goes, baby, it's fucking exhausting. It's so hard. Content is so hard. And we both burst out laughing because we knew how fucking stupid he sounded telling me that when I literally am truly running 4 accounts, 5 accounts, anything goes, Anna Rose, Talk Collective, Self-Love School. Yeah, 4 accounts. It's a lot. And anyway, and I said, yeah, baby, it is. But guess what? It's how I earn the big bucks. At the end of the day, that's where the people are. And so, and it's got to be you. I love AI, but I love AI for data, not for, it acts as my operations manager, not as my content creator. So it's going to take hard work. Like, do not get me wrong, but I will say, if you, the state of Australia and the way that Australia is going, or wherever you are listening to this in the world, the way that AI is taking over jobs, the job losses and the cuts. I was reading a really damning article the other day, how they're saying 500 plus companies are about to cut like 50,000 jobs or something just in Australia, and banks were a big one for it. And I thought, what are these people going to do? Because there's no jobs. So that, like, this is where actually listening to podcasts like this and taking the advice and getting to work, even though it will take hard work, is so vitally important. Because what's the alternative, right? Waiting for the government to give you a welfare check and then being incumbent to them if they say, put this poison in your body or we'll cut your check, right? Working a job that you have to commute to for 1, 2, 3, 4 hours a day and take you away from family time or puppy time or whatever, a life that actually you could get several hours back a week just from not being in the car. Like, so I always say, like, choose your hard at the end of the day. Is starting a business, a little one as well, hard? Of course. You have to work hard. Yeah, you have to work hard, but it's not hard work. Because hard work to me is going to a job that I hate. Hard work to me is accepting a government welfare check that I'm then the government's bitch and they can tell me what to do, what to put in my body, and where I am and not allowed to go, right? Hard work to me is not being able to eat what I want to eat or putting food on the table for my family if I had kids. Hard work is getting in fights constantly with my loved one about money. You have got to choose your hard, right? Working hard in a business that you love because you're pursuing it, because you've figured out what your passion is and actually what you're really good at and what you'd always love to do. Yeah, you're going to have to work hard. But to me, it's not hard work. The alternative of what I've just said, that's the hard work. So choose your hard, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to leave it there. I hope you got something from this. I'm going to do this episode again, but I'm going to turn it into like the exact steps that I would do again if I was to start from scratch with all my investments. And yeah, I just hope that this is serving you. Like I said right at the start, and what a beautiful example of embodying exactly what I just coached. If you liked this episode, if you think that this would serve someone else in your life, if you are inspired and you actually really want to take this on and do it, but you need to like get your partner on board, send it to them. Where I'm going with this is please send them this episode, right? Write a review. Tell me what you loved about this episode or the podcast in general, because it truly means the world to me and it gets this episode and podcast out in front of more people, which is the very thing I need it to do to keep going, right? To keep sitting my bum in this chair every single week and giving you invaluable lessons from a woman that absolutely walks her talk. So I will leave it there. Thank you as always for joining me. And until next week, please stay motherfucking wild.